We are going to shift over to Pat, and she's going to
Tell a story.
tell a story.
Okay. Well, this story, and Kristen knows this because she went and wrote one too, in response to Megan's presentation of what her students had done to think about what it's like to be down in the well and to climb out. Okay, and so I decided to write a story that's a little bit like a children's story. You'll kind of notice the simplicity or the simplistic aspect of it. So I'm calling the story Emily and Her Masks. This is a story about a little girl named Emily who was very good at making masks. She would draw them, cut them out, and tape them to her bedroom wall. A happy mask to cover sadness or shame, a mask for mirroring what others wanted, a brave mask to face fearful unknowns, a laughing mask to hide her tears. They were there to help her be something she could not be on her own. They were a shield she could hide behind so no one could see her. They made her feel very strong. They made her feel that she could do anything. So before leaving for school each day, she slipped a few into her backpack. Her collection continued to grow. A mask with no expression to cover anger and resentment. A mask of uncaring detachment to cover failure or defeat. Circumstances determined what mask was needed. Her brave mask came in handy when other kids were mean to her. Instead of being embarrassed or shamed, she shouted through the mask, "That's unkind and not how real friends act." Her calm mask helped her when she forgot her homework, and instead of claiming the dog ate it, she admitted she left it at home and would bring it the next day. Her determined mask helped her to finish her word math problems when she really wanted to give up. Sometimes the masks helped her see others who clearly needed a mask. One day she saw a little girl sitting alone with a very sad face. Apparently she had no friends. Well, Emily knew how that felt. She ran to her backpack and pulled out her happy face mask. Maybe this would help her feel better. She sat down next to the sad girl and said, "Would you like to be my friend today?" And the sad little girl smiled. This was a new use for her masks. That night, she made a kindness mask. The next day, she seemed to have no loss of friends to play with. And that night, she made a helpful mask. Her teacher was very thankful for the bit of cleaning that she offered. When she got home, she offered to help with the dishes. It made her feel quite pleased, but wondered why her mother had such a strange look on her face. One day, she woke up a bit late, rushed through her breakfast, grabbed her backpack, and ran out the door to catch the school bus. Oh dear, she forgot her masks. Today was test day. It was a test day. Today was a school performance day. Today was a big responsibility day. What would she do without her masks? Something kind of magical happened. Emily had become so accustomed to slipping her masks on and off that she was completely unaware that she didn't have them. When the teacher handed out the tests, she absentmindedly assumed she had her thinking mask on. When the school performance began, she simply thought she had her brave mask on. She went through the entire day wearing one invisible mask after another without realizing it. And you know what was really remarkable? No one noticed. Emily was Emily, the same one everyone knew from the beginning. When she got home, she reached into her backpack to return the masks to their place on the wall. It was then that she realized she hadn't had them with her all day. The masks on the wall began to chuckle. "How did your day go, Emily?" Now, she was rather confused. It went quite well, she said. I just don't know why. Well, Emily, the masks said, we were never there to give you a place to hide, even if that's why you made us. We were there to help you practice being brave, to practice being strong, to practice being self-confident and kind. You've done a very good job, and now you don't need us anymore. Everything that we are is now who you are. Emily was surprised, but realized it had to be true if she went through a whole day without having her masks to slip on one after the other. I'm feeling a bit sad, though, she said. What will happen now that I don't need you anymore? I'm really going to miss you. We're still here, they said, at the end of your day. Come and visit us. Tell us your stories of everything sad and everything happy, everything brave and everything fearful. We're still your friends. We would be sad if you forgot about us. So the next day, when Emily got home, she went to her room and said to the masks, you won't believe the crazy and scary thing that happened at school today. And that's the end of the story. Okay. So the masks, of course, are her archetypes that she dons in order to become what she needs to be, but she just doesn't know she's doing it. And Cristina, I hope that story helped you with what you were talking about earlier.
It did. Thank you.
Good. Okay.
For this next part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show some questions, and they're related to what we talked about last week and a little bit about what we were saying about the well and the ladder, and now even with the mask metaphor, like the different ways that the masks that we carry. And so I'm going to show you some questions, and I'm going to read them first, but then I'll turn off the recording and so we can have a conversation. So I'll just go ahead and bring this up. So I'm going to read these, and before I do, I wanted to just give you a little update on what I talked about last month. So the last month, I spoke of a person that I know who talked about how she was feeling using the metaphor of a well of despair, if you recall. And in this well, she could only see a speck of light at the top. It seemed really dark where she was. And in conversation with her, she realized that she needed support, that it was just felt too alone and too dark in there, and she really didn't have any kind of footing in that space. So with conversation and in speaking with her, and at the time she was only about 12 years old, and now she's almost an adult. But at that time she was, through conversation, able to visualize a long ladder. Or I was saying, we'll visualize a ladder, and she said, well, it's a really, really long ladder to the top. And so she visualized this long ladder coming down toward her. And she could visualize actually physically grabbing hold of it, like the tangibility of it, and was able to slowly climb upwards. And over time and over the years, she was able to make her way slowly, toward the light that she saw above. And with every step, the light grew bolder, bigger, brighter. And at long last, she's been able to now climb to the top, or what she has in the last few months said, where she can actually kind of see the summit. And she knows where that well is. It's right there, but she's not in it. But she is aware of it, but she's definitely at the summit now. And so with that kind of update, and just thinking about that one story, I wanted to have a more interactive conversation today about the wells that we have in our own life. So what are the wells in your life? And these are the way I've articulated this for myself. It's those things, that those areas that keep coming up again and again for us, that demand attention. And it's something that might feel like, to use another metaphor, another descriptor, like a pitfall, like one of those things that you feel that has that you've dealt with it, you've done what you needed to do with it, and it just comes back because maybe there was an aspect of it you haven't dealt with yet, and so it comes back again and again until it's fully either healed or acknowledged or just seen, right? So when you are in deep and it feels dark, what in your life represents the ladder? What helps you not to only find the ladder in the darkness, but also supports you in your climb? So just taking a moment too, like when we're in one of those wells of our life, how have we been able to, like, what is the ladder that we would say is in our life that has helped us in our climb? And when we're climbing, and as we're kind of taking a moment to visualize a ladder, some of us might not only see it, but we might taste it, we might hear it, we might smell it. There might be other sensations around us, and touch, and like our tactile sensory modalities. Like, what are the things that we see and feel and taste around us that are supporting us on this journey? What are those things? What are the tangible things? And who are the people like that we want in our lives when we're in those depths? Like, who are the people that we can count on when we're in the depths of that well? And maybe they change over time. Maybe those people evolve, or maybe they've come in and out of our lives. But who are they when we're in those depths? Who are the people we want around us when we're climbing the ladder? And who are the people we want around us when we reach the summit? Maybe they're all the same people. Maybe they're different people. But who are they? And are we really conscious of the way that different people are supporting us on our journey? And then finally, when we're thinking about Pat's story with the masks, and we're thinking about, which I can liken to when we're in the well and we're not conscious of the masks maybe that we're wearing. And as we're climbing using the ladder, and we're becoming more conscious maybe of these masks that we wear, what are the teachings in that? And how do they teach us about who we are? So I think what I'd like to do is I'm going to stop the share right now. I can keep this on. This is more of a conversation, and I can maybe put these in the chat as well, but if you want to refer back to them. But I definitely want to see everybody's faces as we interact together. And what I'll do is I'll stop the share, and I'll stop the recording so that we can have an interactive conversation.